Hi everyone. I have here a list of news articles related to the pharma and biotech industry. So I have a full article body here, and it's fairly long list, like over 300 articles. And what I'm trying to do today is simply use GPT models to extract the relevant information for me and try to get some insights from these articles. So I'm going to use some prompts, I'm going to use some few-shot learning, like basically learning by example, and I might even need to use or fine-tune my own model. So we'll reach that point later where we'll see, okay, do we need a fine-tuned model or not? But first, I'm gonna, for all that, like to do that from Google Sheet directly, I'm using here like a very simple extension which is called GPTpanda. So you can find it at gptpanda.com. After signing up, like you get to download an extension here, which is like a Google Sheet extension. It gives you the possibility to apply the GPT models directly in Google Sheet, but most importantly, it also gives you a possibility to fine-tune your own model directly from Google Sheet. So back to our data. What I had in mind are basically a couple of data points, like the topic of the article, the indication mentioned in the article, or maybe the main indication, the company name, product name, summary of the clinical outcomes, which is, okay, I have here like small typo. So summary of the clinical outcomes, which is the most exciting one for me personally. But yeah, so those are kind of different tasks that we're trying to apply. So here the two are classification, which could be a little bit complex here, so we'll talk about them later. But let's start with the simple ones. So the simple ones are the extraction, like extracting company name, product name, or maybe like summarizing clinical outcomes. So those are simple because we can get to good results just using prompting. Just prompt the basic GPT-3 model. So here in this case, we'll be using like the DaVinci model by default. So let's try to do that. That's the function here. It's called myGPT. Okay, and I'm gonna give some prompt here, which is extract the company name from the following article or following text. And here we go. Then I have to give it the example. That's the text I'm talking about. Let's see. Here we go. I have the company name here. Perfect. Aurenia, that's correct. Let's try to have it for a few other cells. Let's see if it gives us always good answer. It seems to be giving us good answer, like GSK. Give us even the acronym here, Astellas Pharma, Prescription Neuroscience. Yeah, good. That's good enough for me, like pretty easy. I'm gonna now repeat the same process here. Just kind of slightly change the prompt and tell the model basically to give me the product name. Okay, so, okay, Lipkiness, but it gave me a product name, which I don't like here. But let's see how it goes for the other ones. Just let's extend it here, got the other cells. Yeah, it works nicely. No, here not. Teva is definitely not a product name. So let's see if we put like here medical product name. And try again. Yeah, correct. Yes, perfect. So now it works. Now it works. Maybe that's even like a better prompt to start with. I'm still not happy here with the product name. Let's start to take it out maybe. Without writing product name. Could be so stupid, but I don't know if it will work. Yeah, it actually works. It actually works. Perfect. So cool. So those are like the easy tasks. Here we come a little bit more, slightly more complex, because here I'm asking to summarize the clinical outcomes. So it has to only get the clinical outcomes in case they exist, because not all articles are about clinical outcomes. And then it has to give me a summary for that. So I'm going to try also a prompt. So I'm just saying it to summarize the clinical results mentioned in the following text in one sentence. And let's give it the cell. Yeah, that was two. The cell number. Let's see. So Aurinia has been granted FDA approval for their drug Lupkinase to treat lupus. It's a bit too long. It's a bit too long for my taste. So here in this example, when you experiment enough with prompts and you think that okay, still I'm not super happy, I need something more specific. I need something more consistent. And in this case, then fine-tuning actually might be a very, very good solution. So fine-tuning in this case, and I think like if we just use this method, this prompt, just to get like an initial response, and then we trim it, we make it in the way we like, and then we use this data to fine-tune a model, that should actually be perfect. Okay. Here also we come to the classification. So classifications, I would think about a couple of classes, like not to make it very complex, like just regulatory, is it regulatory, business, or clinical? So I'm gonna, here we can't, like I tried with prompting was not amazing. And the second or the best way in this case might be actually few-shot learning. So few-shot learning, we give a couple of examples, and then we see how it works. So I'm gonna copy a couple of examples and give it a try. So I added here the classes that I'm talking about, but the topic is kind of easy because I only have 3 classes. Problem here is with the indication. The indication I have, you have like a huge number of indications, maybe like at least 10 indications, maybe 15. Also, it very much depends on like some diseases, like do you call it oncology, do you call it rare disease, like if it's a rare oncological indication. Those type of classes could be really tricky, and they might actually require fine-tuning a model. So anyways, let's give it a try first with the example, learning by example. So hemophilia, okay, yeah, I mean it gives you something, right? Because this basic model has been trained on a huge amount of data. So it will give you some class, but again, if you want your own classes, you probably should go for fine-tuning. So these two are best to be done using fine-tuning. And here the summary, because we need a specific format of the summary, of this specific way of summarizing the clinical outcomes, I think here fine-tuning would be amazing. So the next step I'm going to do is I'm going to complete this, or let's say, probably I'm not going to complete everything, but maybe I'm going to complete like 20-25 examples and then get back to you so we can do some fine-tuning together. So here I finished completing this data. So I completed the classes. So I split between like 3 classes, and then I added the indications for about, we're talking about like 25 examples here. Not a huge number. So I'm actually not sure how it will be with fine-tuning, because fine-tuning generally you need 50 to 100 example at least. Like 100 example should be actually okay. But here I only have like 25 examples. We can give them a try. If it works, amazing. Otherwise, like yeah, we can still increase the number of examples and then get back to fine-tuning a new model. So the company here, as you said, like they were super easy. What was also very nice to do is using the prompt to actually do the summary here. So I did, I used the prompts to do the summary. I copied it, pasted, like you have to copy and paste again here as value, so you can edit without actually like going back to the prompt every single time. So and then I edited the summaries. As you can see, like most of them actually didn't even have like clinical outcomes to start with. So, but we got like a couple of news articles that had clinical outcomes, and I made them like here short and directly to the point, to to use them in fine tuning. So here we might have some issue here because we only have, let's say how many, like we only have like 9 examples. So anyways, we can see if it will work, and we'll use it in fine tuning. So how do we do the fine tuning? Fine tuning here is actually quite easy. It's 2 steps. First, so just to be clear, like when we use the fine tuning, we have an input, which is the article, and here we're having multiple outputs. So when we do fine tuning for everything, that's a huge advantage, that eventually, like instead of just using prompts here, prompts there, I don't know, like switching, like fixing the prompt here and like somewhere else use extraction, somewhere else use summarization. Once we do a fine-tuned model, if we use these multiple outputs, then I can show you later, like then you can give it one prompt and it will generate for you all these outputs. So that's amazing. That saves money. That saves money because you don't give the input every single time. Like it's usually included in the pricing, like how many tokens you give to the model as part of the input. So here you don't have to do that. And of course, definitely it saves time. And the main advantage should be consistency, that you get high quality output all the time in the way you want it. Okay, so how do we do that? First, 2 steps. First step, we need to add the dataset. So here I'm just highlighting all the data that I wanna have, and of course I'm skipping the description. That might ruin my dataset or my fine-tuned model, but otherwise, okay, I'm highlighting everything. Perfect, now I have it. I come here, name the dataset. Let's call it Pharma News 1. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna need like to iterate and like to add more ones here. Nice. So here we have the dataset Pharma News 1. And now all we have to do is just click here to start using this dataset to fine-tune our own model. As you see, Funny Tomato, that's a funny name for a model. So our Funny Tomato model is now pending. Probably it will take like a few hours, I guess, like from this dataset. Today is weekend, so a lot of people will be like using OpenAI to fine-tune, I guess. So it might take some time, so I'll get back here later and then we can try it together and see how it works. Here we are a few hours later and our fine-tuned model is already completed. So that's our model we trained on the Pharma News dataset. It's called Funny Tomato and it's ready for us to use. So I'm going to start here. Start with the myGPT function. So we don't need the example here. We only need input because we have already trained this model, like we fine-tuned this model on multiple examples before. And now we have just to enter the name of the fine-tuned model. That's it. And now we try. Okay, nice. So we have here, as you can see, we have to give the input only once and we got all the outputs. So we got the classification, we got the extraction and the summarization all in one. It saves us a lot of credit, which is by itself a huge advantage, especially if we are going to go through like the whole list. So that's one, but let's see how it's performing. So, South Korean company, Celltrion, okay, reported data from phase 2 clinical trial, COVID-19 treatment candidate. Okay, so here it's clinical, definitely right. Infectious diseases, right. Celltrion, that's a company, and that's the name of the product. And it shows us here, okay, that it showed efficacy, a better efficacy compared to the existing antibody treatments developed by Eli Lilly and Regeneron. Oh, yeah, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. That's all I want. I'm very satisfied with this result. Let's try it for a couple of other articles though. Okay, so the second one is, okay, Apellis Pharmaceutical, Bucked Industries, blah, blah, blah. We're talking about geographic atrophy, commercial node. So it's in FDA approval in this case. That's the name. Okay, cool. So regulatory, that's definitely right. You see here, like it's a geographical atrophy. It put it as a rare disease. That's what I was talking about here. Um, it gave me the same style of indication classification that I was looking for. So I wanted it to have. I want to have such indication labeled as rare disease, which is perfect. And now we have the name of the company, and then yeah. I'm just not sure about the name of the under the name. Okay, so it gave me the commercial name. Totally fine with that, I guess. Here in some cases, like okay, if we see, we could actually train it. We could actually train it on enough data. If we want to have like the scientific name of like the name of the compound, if that's what we want to extract, in case both are available, then you have to train on enough data and show every single time, okay, that we're looking for the compound name, and then the fine-tuned model will work, will do that for us. And here it shows me, okay, we have no clinical outcomes. Perfect. That's what I need. Now the next one. So the next one is Akibia Therapeutics, anemia. Okay, positive opinion from European Medical Agency. Okay. So it's a likely European approval. It's not approval yet. Not approved yet. That's the name of the medicine, of the drug. And then chronic kidney disease, who are like patients with chronic kidney disease who are on dialysis. So we're talking about this. Okay, clinical. I'm not sure whether this is clinical, to be honest. I think it's really one of the edge cases or examples where you simply need just a lot more of learning data or training data to get it right. Kidney diseases, I wouldn't call it kidney disease here as a category or as an indication. I would call it nephrology, maybe as like an umbrella for all the kidney diseases and others. Yeah, so that's not perfect. Here the extraction is definitely right, and we don't have outcome data, so that's also very acceptable. Yeah, so totally, it's fine. I think like if you want to ask me about this, would I keep using it? No, but it's a very good sign. Like we got these results, which are, let's say, like 80% correct, 80 to 90% correct. We got them very quickly. It literally took me under an hour to prepare the whole data set using the prompts and then just editing the prompts. And don't forget that I just fine-tuned this model using almost like 25 examples. So I think here, if we just keep going a little bit, like if I'm going to use it for the future, I would actually go and increase the data set, like invest like a few hours, increase the data set up to 100 examples, fine-tune a new model, and then it should be way better. It should be way more accurate. So anyways, I hope that was helpful. Have a great day.